Breaking tonight on The Story, a bombshell exclusive Fox News report about Florida's police response to the Parkland shooting and why, in the crucial first moments of action, officers were apparently told to stand down and remain outside while the shooter was in the building, instead of storming that building, which is the procedure that they are supposed to follow. Take a look at these dispatch logs obtained by Fox News. At 2:32 p.m., a full 11 minutes after the shooting began, and police still didn't know where Nicholas Cruz was, they were commanded to form a perimeter rather than go into the school. And by the time the SWAT team did decide to enter, Cruz was already a few minutes away from the building buying a drink at a Subway restaurant. As you remember, he had found his way out with other students as they were exiting the building, terrified for their lives. Here now exclusively, Broward Deputy Sheriff Jeff Bell. Thank you very much, Sheriff Bell, for being here tonight. The procedure says that they need to directly run into a building when there's a school shooting happening. So why did they not do that?
Well, that's the million-dollar question on that, is why weren't the first units directed to go into the building and go, as we're trained to do that? The call logs that have been presented to me, looking at those, they appear to be authentic, and if those logs are correct, then those commands should have been directed to get into the building, not set up the perimeter first on that.
Who made the call to stand down or to stage, as it was termed in that dialogue?
Well, in the CAD notes that your producers provided to me, it recognizes as 17S1, which would stand for 17 Sierra 1, which would be the captain of Parkland to give that command.
What do you think we need to have in terms of information to figure out what happened here? What do they need to be forthcoming with in terms of information so that everybody can figure out what happened here so that it never happens again?
Well, I think what the union is prepared to state tonight is that we're coming out and we're going to request total transparency from the sheriff and the sheriff's office. Our deputies that are working the streets are getting attacked by public comments of being called cowards in restaurants and coffee shops, and that has to stop. So the only way that we're going to be able to heal as an agency and heal as a community and move forward is to be completely transparent with the public. If we did something wrong, we did something wrong. If we did not do anything wrong, then that's great also. But we have to get past the finger pointing and the political posturing in this county right now so that we can begin to heal and focus on the true issues that are behind this terrible tragedy, which is the mental health status and this Promise program in Broward County that we have.
In terms of Sheriff Israel, is he going to be forthcoming with these videotapes? I mean, you know, I think back to the Las Vegas shooting. We still have never seen the videotapes. So who has control over these tapes? Who has control over the 911 calls so that the timeline can be absolutely positively locked down and everyone can understand who made these calls and why?
Well, the dispatch centers will have access to the 911 calls both at Coral Springs and the sheriff's office. We'll have that. The school board, they control their own video systems. But who has to okay releasing it? Oh, that's going to be from the sheriff's office itself and FDLE.
And do you believe he will?
That is a question that I do not know the answer to. I can only plead with the sheriff and the sheriff's office to release this information so that the deputies can stop being attacked in public and being called cowards, which are rightfully should not be called. The actions of a few people that day should not taint the hardworking men and women of the Broward Sheriff's Office and the other law enforcement officers. Because of the political posturing that we have going on right now in Broward County, I think we've forgotten about the real issue, and we failed to give proper recognition to some of the people that risked their lives that day going into the building. For example, the Broward County SWAT team, the Broward County crime scene, and the K-9 unit, and the Coral Springs Police Departments that selflessly went inside not knowing if the shooter was inside or not. Those guys have been a forgotten topic in this, and Mr. Cruz is suddenly not the topic of the conversation. It's about whether or not something did or did not happen. We need to move past that to get forward with the healing process down here.
Sheriff, thank you very much. And obviously, we will, you know, I mean, no one wants to hear these calls or see these tapes in many ways, but they have to be seen and they have to be heard, as you point out, in order to figure out where the accountability lies and to get to the stage where we can learn really valuable lessons from what happened here. Sheriff, thank you. Good to see you tonight.
Thank you.